I'm not anti-vax at all. I've gotten the vaccine. It's not just people like me who are questioning the mandates. It's even people who have been pushing mandates when it comes to adults. People like Lena Wen on CNN. They use her all the time. She loves vaccines and she loves mandates. Not this one. Listen.
I think it's way too early for us to be talking about mandates in this age group. So far, we have an important study, but the study by Pfizer is just over 2,000 kids. I think the right next step is to have the parents who really want to get their kids vaccinated to allow them to do that. Let's collect some more information. And then if we have more information, including about what it is that vaccines can replace, for example, can vaccines replace the need for masks in schools? Can vaccines help to prevent outbreaks and then stop the need for quarantining and having kids not be in school? Then maybe then we can have a conversation about mandates, but we're a long way off from that.
Lena, speak to the New York City schools. I mean, will they listen to her? They don't listen to, any doctor they perceive as fair and balanced. Will they listen to her?
When a former head of Planned Parenthood and CNN contributor is the voice of reason, you know that you are through the looking glass. And it's not just her. There's an epidemiologist at Yale, Harvey Risch, who's just come out and said that if he were forced to vaccinate his children, he would pull his children out of school. He would homeschool children. Why is that? You mentioned those medical and religious exemptions, which are becoming harder and harder to get. Let's not forget, there are plenty of good reasons not to get the vaccine. I'm not telling people not to get the vaccine. Plenty of good reasons to get the vaccine, but there are plenty of good reasons to avoid it as well. We know that there are some risks. We know that women in particular died of blood clots, and that's why they paused the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. We know that there have been cases of myocarditis and pericarditis. There was a study out of UC Davis which suggested that some young men could actually face greater risk from the vaccine than from the virus itself. We know that there are risks of nerve damage. All of this has been acknowledged by the FDA and the CDC. We know that there are moral objections. All of the vaccines were at least developed with, and in some cases also produced with, stem cells from aborted babies.
They were tested on clones of stem cells. And that is problematic if you are a Catholic like you or I am, or a Christian. They don't want stem cells involved in this process at all.
Right. That's right. And so you've got plenty of reasons to object to this sort of thing, and the government will not permit that. You've got plenty of scientific, expert, genius, exalted scientific voices saying perhaps we should use some caution here, especially when you look at the infection fatality rate, especially for young people. The infection fatality rate is basically zero. It is infinitesimally small for very young people. For older people, for people with comorbidities, then it might be higher, and it's a different calculation there. So the question that a lot of people have is, given the extraordinarily low risk of hospitalization or death from the virus in kids, is there any risk in taking the vaccine? And although this FDA panel voted unanimously to approve the vaccine for kids, one of the members of the panel came out when asked about the safety of it, and he said the only way to know if it's safe is to test it on the kids.
We have that. That's Dr. Eric Rubin of Harvard. This is straight from the panel that's deciding whether this is safe for our kids. This is not some, nobody. This guy's on the team that's deciding. And here's Dr. Eric Rubin of Harvard.
We're never going to learn about how safe the vaccine is unless we start giving it. That's just the way it goes.
Great. Your kid first. Go for it, Dr. Rubin. Do it. I can't wait for your kids and the kids of all the people who are pro-vaccine mandates for children to go first. And we will sit back and we will wait and we will see what happens. And if it turns out to be safe, then maybe we'll consider it. But my kid's not going first. And I'm not responding to any mandate saying he must be.
My question is, did these people run out of beagles? I remember just a couple days ago, we heard about all these awful animal experiments from Dr. Fauci, but now we're told that we're going to experiment on kids. And it seems that, frankly, in some quarters, especially on the left, there's a greater uproar about performing medical experiments on animals than there is on performing medical experiments on little kids who face a very, very low risk from the virus. And in the face of that, it's quite clear that Harvey Risch's advice from Yale is pretty good advice, that you really shouldn't give in to this this sort of thing. This is not going to end. Already you're seeing them move the goalposts on what fully vaccinated means. Already they're moving the goalposts on exactly who needs to get the vaccine. This kind of thing is never going to end. And we are not a country, last I checked the Constitution, that is run by the whims of the Dr. Fauci's of the world. We still have a say in our political order. We still have reason. We still have judgment. We should be able to exercise that and tell these people who are making the mandates to go pound sand.